RSS feed. Okay. So let's just think logically how we're going to do this. Essentially, we're going to be creating some kind of RSS generating object. We're then going to be reading through the database, just like we did in mobilestandards.aspx. And we're going to be going through record by record by record, and we're going to be filling this RSS generating object with the records from the database. And then finally, this RSS generating object is going to kind of deliver as a kind of XML stream all of the recent activity that has taken place in the database. Okay, that's the principle. Firstly, however, we're going to just simply write a line in to tell the whatever is consuming this page this is not a web page, or at least the content that this page is generating is not of your typical web type. It's of an RSS type. So what we do is we just kind of set the response object's content type. So I type in response, wait a minute, response dot content type equals quote, and here we type in application / RSS plus XML. Now you just have to type in, that's just a given that all browsers understand, okay, or all kind of user agents which consume web content will understand that that is a particular type of content, application / RSS plus XML. Okay, so we've got that. That's sorted that out. Okay, so now, first before we do anything, let's create the object which is going to be generating the RSS. Okay. And this comes from this system.servicemodel.syndication. Okay, and what it is we say dim dimension create a variable my feed as new, and here we go, syndication feed. So syndication feed is, so this is the ultimate thing that we're going to be, this is the object which will contain all, if you like, of the recent changes to the database. Okay, so this is in a form that can be then turned into XML. Okay, so that's creating the syndication feed. Now each syndication feed, okay, it's going to have something which will represent it and describe it, so that other systems can understand what it is. Okay, so if we type in my feed, you see dot. You see there's got a number of various little attributes you can set here, but we're going to be setting the title here. So my feed title equals, okay, let's just go back before I put the equals in. My feed, now if you read there that it says public property title as, okay, and so, but then it as describes the variable that will come after it, the type of variable. And the type of variable is, if I type in title again, you'll see the type of system service model syndication dot text syndication content. Okay, so it's a particular type of content, dot text syndication type. So we can't just simply pass a string to it. We have to pass it a variable of this type. So if I type in my title equals text syndication content. Okay, text syndication content dot, and then you've got these various concepts here. So it says create plain text content, because we just want it, this is just going to be plain text that will exist inside this title. So I click create plain text content, okay, and then I open bracket and I put in the quotes. So this is the title I am going to give to this title, such that when it appears in whatever is displaying it, this is what will appear as its title. So I type in mobile standards papers. Okay, so that's what it is, and then I'll need to put in another bracket to sort that out. Okay, so text just use only one, it requires one bracket. Okay, so you've got it there. So my feed title equals text syndication content dot create plain text content open bracket mobile standard. So that gives me the title. Okay, now the next thing is we want to describe it. So we give a little field which will be the description. Okay, so if I type in again my feed dot description, okay, equals, and it's again we have to use this text syndication content dot create plain text content. Okay, and then the description. I'm going to type in what I'll do here is I'll put onto a new line, so it becomes, so I'll put a little underscore here, which is the Visual Basic convention for actually saying that this goes onto a new line, and I'll just press return, and then I can put open bracket, quote, wait a minute, quote, the 5 most recent articles added to the mobile standards website. Okay, so there's this, and that's our description sorted out. Okay, now then, what we also want at this point is to create a link to the page. So the person, suppose they look at their RSS feed and think, oh, this is particularly interesting. I'd rather than just looking at it through my feed viewer, I'm going to actually go directly to the page itself. So we just offer a link to ourselves here. Okay, so we type in my feed dot links dot add. Okay, and now here again we have to type in one of these other long things. You can see, because what it's adding here, system service model, syndication link is the type of object. So it's not just, again, it's not just a URL, it's an actual object. So what we have to do is type in syndication link dot create self link, open bracket, and now here we type in a URI. Okay, so again I'm going to create an underscore and create a new line. Okay, and put in the bracket a little bit earlier, something like this, new URI, open bracket, and which is the page we want them to go to? Basically, mobile standards at ASPX. Okay, mobile standards .aspx. Okay. Okay. Now then, okay, but that, so there's 2 more brackets I need to close there, but that is a problem. That is a problem. Because if you think about it, that link, okay, the thing which is consuming this page, say for example Outlook Express or Google Reader or something like that, if I just pass it the words mobile standards.aspx, how will it know which web server does mobile standards.aspx reside on? Okay, it just doesn't know that. So we can't just simply, in fact, pass it this URL. We need to pass it also the stem of the URL, http:// something, whatever, finally mobile standards. Okay, so to do that, this is just a function that I have created, copied and pasted from a C# page. So, but now turning to VB, I'm just going to now copy and paste it here. I've got a function called OKURL, which will take a string as a parameter, and then what it will do, it will return, okay, what is the current URL's address, okay, the current URL's, stem, if you like, left-hand side, get left part. So if it was, for example, www.hearts.ac.uk/mobile standards, the left part would be www.hearts.ac.uk, the right part would be mobile standards, okay? And so this is this is just a little function which, by passing it kind of the URL of a particular file without any sort of like HTTP reference, this will actually fill in the rest of the HTTP. So if I now change new URI and I return that, I'd say instead, OK URL, don't spell that wrong, URL, mobile standards.aspx, OK, then that should produce a URL which is kind of an absolute URL from the page, from this site. So wherever I put it on the web, it'll relate to wherever that server is. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, and the next stage is to just specify what language we're using. Okay, so we say something like my feed. I think wait a second. It's my feed dot language equals kind of like space en dash us. Okay, so that will tell the whatever is consuming this that that we're actually writing all of this in English. Okay, so that's the first part set up. We've actually created this object, my feed, which is the thing that's going to be doing is the object which is ultimately going to be generating the XML. Okay, but the next thing we need to do is actually start reading from the database to actually populate this thing with some content.